Hey there, Morbid Maniacs. It's time for another spooky video, a part of VLOGTOBER. And for tonight's spooky video, I'm going to be talking all about Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Now, before I jump into this video, I just wanted to say that if you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Melanie. Over here we are spooky and paranormal 24/7. However, for the month of October, we are posting nothing but paranormal and spooky content for 31 days straight. So if that is something that you're interested in, please feel free to stick around, subscribe, and become a part of this little Morbid Maniac family. In 1760, Irishman Samuel Geddes would settle at the Shippensburg, Baltimore, and Philadelphia, Pittsburgh crossroads. He would establish a tavern, which was highly frequented by soldiers and traders. In 1786, his son James would purchase 116 acres of land, divide it into 220 lots, and sell them. He was considered to be the founder of Gettysburg. Beginning in 1790, a movement would begin to separate the western portion of York County into another county. A commission would be drawn to fix the site of the county, and they would choose the Strabane Township, which is now the Strabane Township. And in 1791, additional trustees would be called to plan the construction of public buildings within Gettysburg instead of Strabane. On January 22nd, 1800, the Pennsylvania legislature created Adams County with Gettysburg as its county seat. In 1858, the Gettysburg Railroad completed the construction of a railroad line from Gettysburg to Hanover. The Gettysburg Railroad Station would open a year later. Passenger train service would begin in the town in 1942. The station was restored in 2006. In 2011, Senator Robert Casey would introduce S. 1897, including the railroad station within the boundary of Gettysburg National Military Park. And by 1860, the borough had grown in size to consist of 450 buildings, which housed carriage manufacturing, shoemakers, and tanneries. Starting on July 1st through July 3rd of 1863, the Battle of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania began. It would be one of the most bloodiest battles in the American Civil War. It would be fought across fields across the town. The Confederate Army of Northern Virginia, under the command of Robert E. Lee, experienced success in the early stages of the battle, but would later be defeated by the Army of Potomac, which was commanded by George G. Meade. Lee would execute an orderly withdrawal and would escape across the Potomac River without being drawn into another battle. Meade would later be heavily criticized by President Abraham Lincoln for his cautious pursuit and failure to destroy Lee's retreating army. Casualties were high, and there were losses on both sides. Over 27,000 Confederate and 23,000 Union. The residents of Gettysburg were left to help care for the wounded and bury the dead. It's said that 8,000 men and 3,000 horses perished and laid under the summer sun. The Union soldiers' bodies were gradually moved to what is known today as the Gettysburg National Cemetery. Abraham Lincoln would travel to Gettysburg later that year to dedicate Gettysburg National Cemetery, where he also delivered the Gettysburg Address, which is considered to be one of the most famous speeches in history. Physical damage could be seen throughout the town and houses. It would be one of the most horrific battles in history and in the town. The furniture manufacturing industry would employ many of the residents of Gettysburg for the first half of the century. The Gettysburg Manufacturing Company would form in 1902 and would close its doors in 1960. Gettysburg manufacturing would include a late 19th century foundry that would manufacture gun carriages, bridge works, and cannons for the Gettysburg battlefield. And it would help in the construction for hotels, stables, and other buildings. Each year, beginning on July 1st through the 3rd, volunteers will reenact the Battle of Gettysburg. Each day, the reenactors would take part in a different part of the battle, the battles being narrated and performed in Gettysburg National Military Park. Due to its dark history and past, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania is believed to be one of the most haunted towns in the United States. Many who travel to Gettysburg will often experience paranormal encounters and have very chilling stories to tell. Many will experience supernatural encounters unlike any other. It's believed that many of the souls of those who perished during battle still linger in the area to this day. Rumors of exorcisms have even taken place. Many who visit Gettysburg will often feel the remnants of those who lost their lives there. And one of the most famous hotspots for the paranormal is that of the battlefield. Many will claim to see ghostly apparitions of regiments, phantom horsemen, faces, and figures which all match the 18th century. And many of these apparitions will actually appear in photographs and are not present when the photo was taken. Some have even witnessed these apparitions with their naked eye, and they believed that it was nothing more than actors reenacting the war. However, there are no reenactments present at the time. And the ghost stories don't just take place in the modern day. It's said that ghostly encounters occurred in 1863, as there were reports among Union troops that General Washington, who was deceased since 1799, had been spotted leading the men to victory. And several photographs have reportedly captured the ghostly apparition of one of these soldiers. This figure is usually in the form of an unkempt, long-haired, ragged clothing person who is also wearing a floppy brimmed hat. And on rare occasions, some have even claimed to have witnessed this spirit actually speaking to them before vanishing without a trace. Reports of ghostly cavalrymen on horseback appear in the area, only to vanish soon after. Numerous reports of phantom sounds have happened there as well, such as gunfire, shouting voices, and cries of anguish, all of which are completely unexplainable. And one of the most famous ghostly manifestations within Gettysburg is that of the Phantom Regiment. The ghostly remnants of the Confederate unit still haunt the area to this day. Visitors often report hearing sounds of drums, cannons, and footsteps which echo through the night. It's also said that many who visit the area will often report seeing the ghostly procession of soldiers in tattered, unidentifiable uniforms, still marching in formation on the battlefield, and this will be at odd hours of the night. Then there is the infamous Lady in White of Gettysburg. Legend has it that the Lady in White will still roam around the battlefield and across the historic town. Her figure is often spotted draped in a long white flowing dress, which seems to glow in the moonlight. She is said to appear lost and clueless, and her face is filled with sadness and sorrow. It's believed that she is the spirit of someone who lost their beloved during the Civil War, forever searching for him among the battle zones. And located within the Gettysburg National Park is a place which is known as the Devil's Den. The Devil's Den is a large structure of boulders which are clustered together. This location would be used as a hideout during the Civil War. And this rock formation is also known to be a very haunted hotspot within Gettysburg. Many who take a peek at this rock formation will often see the dim apparition of soldiers standing close by. And this will be at various times throughout the day. And battle sounds can also be heard while inside of the Devil's Den. And this will be at otherwise quiet times when you wouldn't expect to hear anything. The Jenny Wade house is also a very haunted location within Gettysburg. On July 3rd, 1863, 20-year-old Mary Virginia Jenny Wade would be unalived during the battle. She would be struck by a stray bullet through her heart, which would pass through her kitchen door while she was making bread. Since many visitors of the Jenny Wade house will often hear odd, unexplainable sounds, disembodied voices and moaning can be heard throughout the home. Jenny was rumored to be engaged to C.P.L. Johnston, Jack Scully. Right after Jenny's death, her fiancés would follow. Many believe Miss Wade to haunt the town as well. And this being due to the formal battle cemetery being reconstructed, and therefore them moving Jenny's body from its original burial site. In one room of the home, there is a hole in one of the doors, and the legend has it that any woman who is single and places her finger in this hole will be married or engaged within a year. And many who are traveling throughout the Gettysburg National Cemetery will often leave with a paranormal story to tell as well. It's said that many who are walking among the cemetery will often see glowing orbs of light which roam freely above the tombstones. Apparitions have been spotted marching up and down hills and standing amongst the tombstones. And at night, off in the distance, sounds of gunfire, cannonballs firing, and shrieking can all still be heard. There is also Sachs Bridge. Located on Waterworks Road, this bridge is believed to be haunted by the ghosts of 3 Confederate soldiers. These men have been spotted at various points throughout the day, and many visitors will often report the smell of cigar smoke. Many will report the sounds of cannons being fired off in the distance while visiting the bridge, and also the sensation of being tapped on your shoulder and turning around to find no one there. And there are many more haunted locations within Gettysburg. Pretty much the entire town is haunted. The entire land of Gettysburg is haunted. It's pretty much just like Salem, Massachusetts. The whole town is riddled with supernatural tales, and it will forever be scarred by its terrible past and haunted by souls of those who lost their lives there, trapped, roaming the area for an eternity. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania is believed to be one of the most haunted and famous towns within the United States. It's been featured on many paranormal television shows. Many ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts travel there. It's estimated that Gettysburg has over 1 million visitors each year visiting to catch a glimpse of a ghostly apparition for themselves. So there is the story of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. This is one I've been wanting to do for a really long time now, and I've just been putting it off because there's so much history while doing research that I wanted to make sure I gathered up every little bit of it that I could. But I really would like to visit there one day, and I'm hoping that I can possibly do that sometime next year, but we'll see. But let me know if you guys have ever visited Gettysburg, Pennsylvania for yourself and had any sort of paranormal experience. I would love to know in the comments below, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big old thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Become a morbid maniac. Also be sure to hit that bell notification, that way you get notified every single time I upload a new video. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.